I hate scarecrows. I have ever since I was little. I found something about the dolls stuff the straws unsettling. I remember my parents tried to help me get over this fear by telling me things like they're not scary, they only want to be friends. Well, somehow the line like to get me to lighten up. When I got older, my fears began to fade. Scarecrows still weren't my favorite things in the world, but they weren't the nightmare fuel they used to be. This all changed, however, after the events that took place last Halloween. It was almost a weekend before Halloween, and my friends were planning on hosting a party at one of their apartments. "You should come, Joe," my friend Dennis said one morning before classes. "Exams will be taking over our lives soon, so might as well have a little fun." I tapped my fingers on the side of my to-go cup before taking a sip of my latte. "You're acting like nobody has parties during exams," I retorted. "I'm sure I won't be missing much. I was never really someone that enjoyed parties, even when I got to college. Truth is, I never got anything out of them other than a hangover and makeup stains on my pillow." "It's not just any party, it's a Halloween party," said Dennis. "You can't tell me you aren't just a little bit interested in dressing up." I looked down at the floor, catching a glimpse of my backpack laying under the cafeteria table. It was true that projects were stressing me out. I suppose it would be fun to spend one night thinking about something else for a change. "Fine," I answered. "I give it a try." Dennis smiled. "Awesome. It's not too far from your place, actually. So if you hate it, you can just, leave." I raised an eyebrow. "You wouldn't let a girl walk home alone from a college party, would you?" "Well, no, but I just meant..." "I'm joking," I laughed. "I'm capable of handling myself. And if I do feel unsafe, I'll just call a cab or something." Dennis sighed and gave me a playful nudge before we went our separate ways. The week went by faster than expected. Before I knew it, it was the night of the party. I had picked up a pirate costume from a local party store the night before. It wasn't really that creative, but I didn't feel like this would be the type of the crowd I would care. At 9:30 p.m., I got a call from Dennis. "Hey, are you here?" I asked, answering the phone. "Yep, I'm outside," he replied. I hung up and slid my cell into my pocketbook. When I walked out of my building, I was greeted by Dennis and his Honda Civic. "I thought you said the party was closed," I said, confused. "Why do we need your car?" "Oh shit," Dennis exclaimed after I closed the passenger side door. "I forgot to tell you, it changed. It's cool, though. It's at the other dude's house that we know. It's close to the woods." "That sounds a little creepy," I said, laughing nervously. "Oh no, it's fine." Dennis reassured me. "I know the guy that's throwing it. He's great. The house is also massive, so he's letting people stay if they want." "Well, that's a relief," I answered. We were on the road for about 45 minutes before we got to the house. It looked like we were some of the last people to arrive, as a lot of the students were already spilling out onto the porch. The night progressed how I imagined it would, with drunk college being their debaucherous selves. To my surprise, I was having a fun time, and everything was going well. That is, until I overheard a conversation between two of the guests. "You still haven't found her?" "Yes, he's dead," said one of those guys whose face was made up like a clown. "Out of that, or trapped in some psycho's basement," said the other, who was dressed as a clown. I walked up to the two boys. "Hey," I said, "mind if I ask What are you guys talking about? The two boys looked at one another and then back at me. Some girl that goes to our school went missing like 2 weeks ago, said the clown. The last time anyone saw her was at the fair with a giant corn maze. I tilted my head to the side. I remember hearing something about a missing student, but I didn't know the details of what happened. Yeah, said the skeleton, interrupting my train of thought. She was hot too. Really? The clown asked with a disdain, giving his friend a disapproving stare. What? It's true. I started walking away from two of them when I heard something that sounded like a whimper or whistle. I looked back at the two boys for confirmation. They looked at me and acknowledged that their two had heard the strange sound. Hey, turn down the music for a second, yelled the clown. A girl wearing a Wednesday Addams costume adjusted the volume of it on a pair of speakers set up in the corner of the room. Everyone just shut the hell up. The room went silent for a moment, just as we were about to dismiss it as nothing important. We heard it again. This time it was clear, a scream. Everyone in the room raced to the windows that overlooked the driveway to see what was happening. I squeezed into a spot by one of the windows and looked out. A girl stood in front of the porch, screaming for help and clutching her stomach. I recognized her as one of the people who was sitting outside when we first got here. The boy dressed as a skeleton opened the window so that we could hear what was going on. He's dead, she cried as he approached the group that had gone outside. He's dead. She killed him. Who's dead? What happened? A voice asked. The girl took one more steps towards the group and then stopped. He's dead, she said one last time before taking her hands off her abdomen. As she did this, her attention spilled out onto the pavement, and the house filled with screams. I couldn't move. I couldn't even think. All I could do was stare at the sight of the gory mess as people frantically tried to help the dying girl. Suddenly, something in the corner of my eye snapped me out of my trance. I turned my head slightly looking towards the line of the trees just behind the driveway. There, standing next to the tall pine tree, what looked like a scarecrow. From what I could see, it was wearing a ripped up old sweatshirt, and bits of straw were popped out of small holes. As my vision adjusted, I realized that this scarecrow has distinctly female features. Just then, a strange figure moved and looked at the window. My heart dropped, but I managed to find my voice. In the trees, I screamed. Someone shined a flashlight along the tree line. When the light connected with the creature, it quickly took off into the inky dark. In that short period of time, however, I managed to see the thing that I had been stalking us. It was a girl that couldn't have been any older than the guests at the party. She had light, matted hair, and the pale skin under her face was stitched into the fake smile and sewn into a fabric on her neck. The sweatshirt she wore barely covered what appeared to be small razors where her hands should have been. Worst of all, however, were her eyes. They were totally white and void of life, almost corpse-like. It didn't take long for the police to arrive. The injured girl was taken to the hospital, where she remained in critical condition for some time. When she eventually came to, she revealed that she and her girlfriend had gone into the woods that night of the party. She claimed that something attacked them, killing her boyfriend and wounding her. When the police went back to the area, there was no sign of the boy or the creature. Everyone at the party was questioned, including me. I told the police about the figure I saw, going into the detail about her appearance. Instead of diminishing my claims, they seemed genuinely invested and continued to ask me questions about the creature. Towards the end of the interrogation, I was shown a photo of a girl. That's her, I said, pointing at the photo. That's the girl. Are you absolutely positive? One of the officers asked. I nodded. Why? I responded. Who is that? The man held up the photo. This is Cecilia Bauman, he replied. I stared at the photo. The name sounded familiar to me. The officer continued. She's the student that went missing a couple of weeks ago.